Coming up today on Good Morning BU, Russia halts nuclear deal. We bring you the latest reactions after the state pauses participation in a key regulation program.
Now 1 year on the job, our student government president, Dhruv Kapadia, sits down with us to reflect over his term so far, ahead of the new student government elections.
COM and TFA are teaming up. We sit down with the director of a one-of-a-kind project coming to BU.
Men's lacrosse is off to the races. We stop by practice to preview their season after a historic NCAA victory last year. Live from Studio West in the College of Communication, Good Morning BU starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Good Morning BU. I'm Sydney Topf.
And I'm Alex Dowd. Here are today's top stories. Central Florida is still grieving after multiple shootings Wednesday killed 3 people, including a 9-year-old girl and a journalist. Police announced yesterday that 19-year-old Keith Melvin Moses would face first-degree murder charges after fatally shooting a woman in Orlando on Wednesday morning. Police say Moses is wanted in 4 other shootings across the day, including that of a 9-year-old shot in her home and a Spectrum News journalist, Dylan Lyons. While a motive hasn't been confirmed, investigators suggested that Moses might have been under the influence. Spectrum 13, Lyons Station, eulogized him in a report last night.
He loved his career, he loved what he did, he loved the community, telling the stories of people reporting on the news, and he was just passionate about what he did.
Russia is pausing its support for a nuclear monitoring deal signed in 2010 by President Barack Obama and then Russian President Dmitry Medvedev. The New START treaty sets limits on the number of ballistic missiles, heavy bombers, and requires parties to reduce their nuclear stockpile. Russian President Vladimir Putin said Tuesday, though, that he would be, quote, suspending a key inspection provision as a result of U.S. support to Ukraine in the ongoing war. Putin alleges that the U.S. shares nuclear secrets with Ukraine and that it would be, quote, absurd to return to the treaty as is. U.S. Secretary of State denounced Putin's decision on Wednesday.
You know, when the administration started, we extended New START because it was clearly in the security interests of our country and actually in the security interests of Russia. That only underscores what an irresponsible action this is. But of course, we remain ready to talk about strategic arms limitations at any time.
Today marks 1 year since Russia invaded Ukraine, and the war shows no signs of slowing. President Biden made a surprise visit to Kyiv, Ukraine earlier this week to mark the anniversary. He spent about 5 hours in the capital city, meeting with President Zelensky and visiting a monument honoring soldiers who had died in the war. President Biden secretly took a train from Poland into Ukraine Monday afternoon, while White House officials denied rumors that he would visit the war-torn country on this trip. His staff traveled in 2 separate groups and didn't release any official travel plans. Biden's team even called Russian officials hours before he arrived in Ukraine, according to our national security advisor, Jake Sullivan. After his visit, Biden addressed the world from Warsaw, Poland, where he promised continued support for Ukraine.
But there should be no doubt. Our support for Ukraine will not waver. NATO will not be divided, and we will not tire.
Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson is coming to BU. The School of Law announced Tuesday Justice Jackson is scheduled to address in May. The High Court's newest member will give the convocation address for the school's 2023 commencement. Boston serves a fitting spot for Jackson as she spent her days across the Charles River from BU at Harvard College and Law. The ceremony will take place at the Track and Tennis Center at 9 a.m. on May 21st. Coming up next on Good Morning BU, we're taking a closer look at what's going around campus. I spoke with BU student president Dhruv Kapadia to discuss his slate's work this year.
And later, we're going to take a look at an exciting collaboration between the College of Communication and the College of Fine Arts. Evan Jimenez has more.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Hey, Gabby, how you doing? How's the play date and sleepover?
Dad, it was great.
Awesome. Okay, I'm on my way.
Hey, guys, what are you doing?
We're going swimming! We're going biking! Yeah!
I'll see you in a little bit, guys. I love you.
Hi, babe. How was school today?
Hi, Dad. It was great.
Okay, honey. I'll be home soon. Remember, you're never too far away from your kids to be a dad. Reach out and take a second to check in, because sometimes the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Welcome back. Student elections are around the corner, but that doesn't mean the current executive slate is slowing down yet. I sat down yesterday with Student Government President Dhruv Kapadia to discuss his reflections on the work done so far in a little under a year in office. I started by asking him about his executive board's communication with students.
Yeah, I think communication, especially directly to the student body, it's about prioritizing. For us, we've just generally noticed that a lot of students don't engage with our website. That's not a reason as to why it hasn't been updated. It's just that we've prioritized other means of communication. For example, our Instagram has grown about 1,000 followers since we took office, which is a fairly large deal given that the Instagram has been around for, I believe, 5 or more years. We've seen increased attendance to our different events and initiatives that we've been putting on, and we've also just seen more discourse about student government. More people are in the know.
Administration is sort of at a limbo right now, with us currently in the hunt for a new dean of students, and President Brown recently said he's going to retire at the end of this year. Has student government all been asked about either search, and what would you be looking for in a new president and dean of student?
I think it's irresponsible of the university not to have student representation on both the presidential search committee and the dean of student search committee. We've pushed for it in multiple meetings with members from the both of those search committees. We've pushed for it with President Brown, with Dean Campbell Foster, and ultimately, it's just not reached a point where we have formal student representation. It's unfortunate. I think they think by having these listening sessions that are open to the entire undergraduate constituency that they're strengthening the student voice. But personally, I think if you put any student leader, they have enough influence and connections to better represent the student body.
You told us last year in an interview that you wanted to make student government more legitimate, where students were as invested as the people they elected. Do you think you've achieved that? And how much more do you think we need to move as a student body before we reach this?
Over the course of the summer, we worked with Campus Activities Board, which is an event planning organization on campus, and we were able to provide more oversight over some of their budget. We've been able to fund a lot of student organizations that have been underfunded by Allocations Board or need supplemental funding last minute. So some of those criticisms that people have had about student government in the past, they're still true, right? Like, we still struggle to communicate with students. We do still struggle with visibility and legitimacy. Those things will continue to exist. I think we've done more than previous years and previous administrations. And I think that's exactly what we ran on.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Sydney.
Students enrolled in Boston University's College of Fine Arts are pushing for a petition to get signed by CFA administration to gain access to the front door of the building, which usually remains locked. Only the alleyway entrance remains open to students, which is inconvenient for those carrying large instruments and needing to travel all the way to the back instead of just going through the front door. The new petition was started by CFA Student Government and has reached over 700 signatures. CFA Dean Harvey Young responded to the petition, saying that the alleyway is more efficient and promotes more inclusion because it has no stairs. Still, students continue their protest.
College students in Vermont are protesting the decision to completely reshape the school's athletics and library system. 3 Vermont state colleges are slated to combine this summer into one Vermont university, which announced plans to shift to an entirely digital library system. In addition, the university announced that student athletes on its Johnson campus will switch from the NCAA to a lower tier. Students argue that the change would leave them without a valuable educational resource and cause athletes to transfer schools to remain competitive. Faculty and students took to the State House yesterday to protest, while the university insists that the changes are necessary due to budget constraints.
BU administration is looking for a new director for a professionally staffed LGBTQ+ resource center here on campus. President Brown and University Provost Jean Morrison sent an email to all students, family, and staff announcing their plan to launch the center on the second floor of 808 Comm Ave. Creating a resource center for queer students was one of the main requests from BU's LGBTQIA task force. They also recommended increasing gender-affirming care at SHS and more gender-neutral bathrooms across campus. Administration hopes to open this resource center before the 2023-2024 school year.
Spencer, the iconic Boston Marathon dog, finally finished his own race last week. Spencer died Friday, exactly 2 months before making it to the 127th Boston Marathon. The Golden Retriever, who worked as a therapy dog, was known for holding a Boston Strong flag to cheer on runners since 2015. Last year, the Boston Athletic Association named him the official dog of the 126th Boston Marathon for this commitment. Spencer was diagnosed with an inoperable cancer last September after previously surviving cancer and other health issues since 2020. His owners, Rich and Dory Powers, want Spencer to be remembered as a symbol of hope and plan to continue his legacy this year with their other dog, Penny. Coming up next, BU correspondent Evan Jimenez gives us an inside look at an exciting upcoming project on campus.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream, that I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly, just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Getting that college education. What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Welcome back. A big project is coming to BU. The College of Communications and the College of Fine Arts are partnering for a first-of-its-kind project here at Boston University, titled Art House. The project is a sitcom written, directed, and acted in by BU students from both COM and CFA. After nearly 3 semesters of preparation, Art House will film this April in the Joan and Edgar Booth Theater. In a new series here at GMBU, which we're calling Building the Art House, we'll speak with key players behind the scenes for this project. This week, Good Morning BU correspondent Evan Jimenez sat down with student director Eli Cantor to talk about his role in the project. Let's take a look.
Tucked away in a remote corner of the College of Communication, Eli Cantor works away at his senior thesis. The film, called Art Boy, was something he's had in mind for a while.
I always had this idea of this high school artist who like gets rejected by his crush, and they have to like, it's like stay friends, which is just a thing I think that a lot of people in high school go through.
Cantor is a recognizable face in the film department. In addition to Art Boy, he won a Redstone last year for his work directing and writing the short film Double Take. That achievement caught the eye of film department chair Paul Schneider, who offered Cantor the chance to direct a very different kind of project.
I was very humbled, and I was very lucky to get this opportunity.
Art House, a sitcom written, directed by, and starring BU students. Several episodes are in the works for an April premiere, which will take place in front of a live studio audience.
A young woman, Barb, in her 20s, who returns to her childhood home after leaving San Francisco after having a breakup, only to find that strangers in the home, when she's looking for her brother there, it's a community of artists that he started. So they're all like young, aspiring artists.
The project is something that's never been tried before in comm. And for Cantor, that challenge excites him.
I think everything I take on should be like challenging myself. So Art Boy, the scary part was like working with like all these, relying on these very young actors and using 2D animation, having these party scenes with all these extras. And then this time around, I mean, this is just like working on a kind of scale this large with this many people and this kind of like budget and this long of a script, that was also daunting.
Art House premieres at the end of April, and the challenge for Cantor until then is clear. Direct his cast and crew to tell a story that resonates with viewers.
Maybe parts of it can be relatable. These are all characters that are following some sort of dream or trying to figure out what their dream is. So that could be something that could resonate with people too. But overall, I really hope people find it funny and get a kick out of it. And I think if we can do that, then we will have succeeded.
For Good Morning BU, I'm Evan Jimenez.
And action.
Thanks for that, Evan. Coming up next, we'll take it to Kara Mim for sports.
To Maddie, congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
How'd you manage that anyway?
I started tracking my spending, changed a couple of habits.
Wow, I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now. I don't even know how I'm doing it.
Well, have you tried saving a little?
I want to, but where's that money gonna come from? Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
Not home.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Welcome back. It's a bit of a mixed bag this week in BU sports. Some tough losses, but a few bright spots. Here to break it down for us is Kara Mim. How are you, Kara?
I'm doing good, Sydney. It's been a temperamental week for BU sports. A couple heart-racing wins have been matched by equally heartbreaking defeats. Starting on the bright side, the Boston University women's basketball team won their 16th game in a row, which ties a program record. Forward Caitlin Wemmer, otherwise known as Miss Double-Double, was sensational. The junior racked up a career high of 32 points to help the Terriers secure a 77-70 win against Army in the team's Play for K game. Wemmer also became the first Terrier since 2012 to hit the 30-point mark in a single game. She had this to say after her offensive outburst.
Great passes. I think that we just executed our game plan really well, and it just happened to be a good night for me, so I guess I'm lucky. I love playing for the team, so it was great.
With the win, the Terriers finished conference play with an undefeated record at home for the first time since becoming a member of the Patriot League. With the regular season title already wrapped up, BU will look to stay consistent in their upcoming game against Lehigh this Saturday. Moving to the ice, the women's hockey team bowed out of the Hockey East tournament, losing 5-4 to Merrimack College, the conference's bottom seed. The game required overtime, with neither team being able to hold a lead during regulation. The extra frame lasted just 9 minutes, with sophomore winger Alexa Pongo finding the top of the net with a backhand to send the Terriers home. Wednesday night will stand as Brian DeRocher's final game as BU head coach, with the longtime leader receiving one more ovation before exiting the ice for the last time. One coach that will be sticking around ComAv is men's lacrosse Ryan Pooley, who signed a multi-year extension on Wednesday. Pooley has raised the standards of the lacrosse program, and GMBU's Bobby Serafin stopped by Nickerson Field to figure out how.
Last season marked a historic year for Boston University men's lacrosse, with the program earning its first ever Patriot League title and NCAA tournament appearance. Established just 9 years ago, the team has come a long way, and that's all thanks to head coach Ryan Pooley. The reigning Patriot League Coach of the Year points to building a culture as his key to success.
We want our team to embody being a family. We want them to have accountability. We want them to work hard. We want to have them to compete at the top, at the highest level, and then we want to play with the motors.
Senior attacker Louis Perfetto admires how everyone has bought into Pauley's system that has turned BU into a powerhouse.
He doesn't really rely on just captains or just like seniors. He kind of empowers everyone to be a leader, and everyone has a voice, everyone has influence.
Pauley's strong structure has produced a high-powered offense and a stifling defense that's made life extremely difficult for the rest of the Patriot League. The anchor of that defense, senior Roy Meyer, plays as hard as anyone. The Long Stick Middies' 54 turnovers last season led the nation.
Roy Meyer picks up the ground ball and another turnover.
Meyer acknowledges that his attitude has changed since his freshman season.
When we were freshmen, I feel we were kind of going to the games hoping we were going to win and really wishing as an underdog that we could have a chance to disrupt some of these big teams. But as we have grown in confidence, you kind of see the overall landscape of college lacrosse, and it's really any given Saturday is a win or a loss.
The Terriers defeated Army in last year's Patriot League final, with Perfetto winning the tournament's MVP.
Oh man, Perfetto over the shoulder on the feed from Lay.
The attacker was one of 3 Terriers with 30 goals on the season. Perfetto had 4 goals and 9 points to lead the Terriers to Patriot League glory. The attacker said that being part of history means a lot to the now senior class.
I think it was something that was preached to us when we were getting recruited here, just the opportunity we had to build this program up from the start, and the heights we could take it to. So I think we really took it to heart, our class and the classes that are all here.
Perfetto and the Terriers have started the new season 1-1, but are looking to hit new heights in 2023.
From Nickerson Field for Good Morning BU, I'm Bobby Serafin.
Thanks, Kara. Coming up next, entertainment correspondent Chloe Adams gives us updates in music and activities around the city.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream, that I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly, just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Welcome back. So it's been a long week, but luckily Chloe Adams is here with our Terrier Trend Report. Chloe, can you give me a rundown of the weekend?
Thanks, Alex. The Valentine's Day spirit lives on this month at Ducali Pizza because the restaurant, located on 289 Causeway Street, is back to offer heart-shaped pizza all throughout February due to popular demand. This pizza serves about 2 people, so go relax and grab someone special to enjoy it with. If you need another way to unwind this weekend, Ice Flow Yoga on Ice is having their final winter session this Sunday. You don't need any experience to attend this free yoga-inspired skating class that will have you learning breath techniques and stretches, all while gliding on the ice. And if you don't own a pair of skates, don't worry, because it'll only cost you $7 to rent out a pair. Lastly, it's been 3 years since Elle King put out new music, but now the X's and O's singer is almost halfway through her tour for her new album. She'll be coming to Boston's Roadrunner with country band Red Clay Strays at 8 p.m. before taking off to Pennsylvania for her next show. King is expected to perform her 2015 hit song X's and O's, along with newer songs like Lucky. If you don't want to miss the show, sites like StubHub and Vivid Seats are still selling some tickets starting around $45, so there's still some time to grab some last-minute tickets. Now back to Sydney and Alex at the desk.
Thanks for that, Chloe. That's going to do it for us this week at Good Morning BU.
On behalf of all of us here in Studio West, thank you so much for watching. I'm Alex Dowd.
And I'm Sydney Topf. Stay safe and have a good weekend.